Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being out. From my vantage point, today's just an incredible day. Beyond a beautiful, beautiful day here in Blair. I'm a believer in first impressions, and I just want to give a gigantic kudos to everybody from the community of Blair and greater community. Your community is extraordinary. I was just here a couple of weeks ago out at the Cargill campus. The investment, taking the risk, and what you all have accomplished there, and I've been a part of it in the last 30 years, is rather remarkable, and the impact it has on value-added agriculture and, of course, your community. And I think the other thing that we need to celebrate a little bit is your community, and so many people went through extraordinarily difficult times almost 2 years ago in April. Lots of tough stuff went south of here from a tornado. It was just extraordinary across the state of Nebraska, whether we're talking tornadoes or we're talking historic wildfires. In the darkest moment, Nebraskans come together to have our backs. So that's really cool. And so, we're here today talking about solving problems. I think the most important thing that we can do is make a difference for our young people so that in my day, Suzanne and I bought our first home when we were 23 years old. And today, way too many people can't do it until they're 40 years of age. So I'm really, really excited about what we're talking about here today. LB 1114, I want to give a shout out to Senator Jacobson, who carried the innovative legislation introduced to fundamentally lower upfront costs of housing across the state of Nebraska by spreading infrastructure expenses over a longer period of time. We don't need to spend time talking about how housing costs are such an incredible barrier and how we want to break those down and be able to make it at a time frame that really matters. So the greatest way to create wealth for our families is owning homes. So I think Nebraska communities across face infrastructure financing challenges that do nothing but not only slow development, in some instances totally decrease it, our housing costs, and limit the ability of cities and villages to guide high-quality growth. Affordable housing projects often never get off the ground because they're too expensive. So infrastructure costs for residential development typically add $30,000 to $50,000 per lot, making up a significant portion of the final home price. And these expenses encompass physical land preparation, utility hookups, sewer lines, city and street improvements, you name it. So LB 1114 allows the establishment of the Community Improvement District SIDS to help defray the upfront cost of infrastructure by leveraging tax-exempt financing repaid through district-generated revenues. This is really, really awesome work, innovative to solve problems, and I'm really, really excited to be here today because Blair community, but to highlight this Bear Creek housing development project behind us, which plans to utilize the SID tool to build 137, get that? 137 new homes here in the Blair community at a cost that started right at $320,000. The affordable, people can still be spending, own their home and still spend a ton of money on Main Street. This particular SID in Blair will reduce upfront lot costs and eventual home prices by 30%. Get this, by 30%. It's extraordinary. Creating home price and range for Blair has a market demand for, and it will save hundreds of dollars per month for new homeowners in this particular development. By utilizing the SID tool for the Bear Creek development, Blair will get the homes and eventual tax base that they desperately need, while the new development will drive jobs and affordable spending for the community. So this enactment of LB 1114, we're taking proactive steps to keep the cost of housing down and make sure the dream of home ownership is attainable. Who in Nebraska doesn't want that to happen? So it's really, really good, and it takes a lot of smart people to make that happen, and a lot of people that have commitment and resolve. So first up, I want to introduce Jason Thiellen, President of the Home Coalition. Jason, congratulations. Thanks for all your really good stuff.
Governor Pillen, thank you so much for including us here today and for your leadership in signing this incredibly important legislation into law. Like Governor said, my name is Jason Thiellen. I am the president of Welcome Home Coalition. Welcome Coalition is a non-for-profit organization made up of businesses, community leaders, and advocates committed to expanding opportunities for families, first-time home buyers, and future Nebraskans to achieve the dream of home ownership. For the past 5 years, we've worked to identify practical solutions that address Nebraska housing challenges. With the passage of LD 1114, and the creation of the Community Improvement District, we're taking a meaningful step towards making housing more attainable and affordable for those across our state. This legislation provides communities with a new tool to help finance critical infrastructure, reduce development costs, and encourage the construction of much-needed housing. CIDs are the most meaningful economic development tool for cities across the state of Nebraska since the TIF was passed in 1979. We're excited to see the first project move forward here in Blair. We know its impact will extend far beyond this community. Housing remains one of Nebraska's top and greatest challenges and opportunities in the state. The Welcome Home Coalition looks forward to continuing our work alongside Governor Thiellen, Senator Jacobson, members of the legislature to remove barriers to development, support responsible growth, to help Nebraska families find a place called home. Not just in eastern Nebraska, but across the entire state. As a western Nebraska kid from Alliance, Nebraska, this tool could be used there, anywhere in the state. Thank you so much.
Nebraska, 10,000 people strong. I was just out there 2 weeks ago, and it's a great community. And you know, I think we ought to take a minute and just look around at each other. I mean, this is it. Look at the young people that are here, and this is for you guys and gals. Even the young intern from Kansas City, by golly, you got to stay here. Got to stay here because Nebraska's alive. And I think the other that I'd be remiss, I love doing it all the time. It's really, really important that we appreciate each other. I ask this question all the time. What do you love the most about Nebraska? As lifetimers, we get flustered, we kick the dirt, don't know what to say. Anybody that's moved to Nebraska, I don't care if it's even been a month or 2 months or 10 years, they can't get it out fast enough to see people. We are an extraordinary people, whether we grew up in Alliance or on the river, and we come from all over the world, and we the people make this an extraordinary place. And I think what I get so fired up about is across this great strait is business leaders, just like here, making things happen. Government's the last place it starts. We got to create things, but business leaders making things happen for the next generation is what's really cool about it. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Bluestem Capital Partners leader Adam Flanagan. Adam.
Well, thank you, Governor, for that introduction. Good morning. My name is Adam Flanagan with Bluestem Capital Partners, and we're proud to be here this morning as members of the Welcome Home Coalition. It's especially fitting that we're here in Blair today because the idea for this legislation began with conversations with Phil about this very site and the challenges of developing housing within city limits. As we talked to community leaders, developers, and stakeholders across Nebraska, it became clear that these challenges were not unique to Blair. Communities throughout our state, including Alliance and including Albion, are eager to grow, but too often the cost of infrastructure and development creates obstacles that make housing projects difficult to move forward. Community improvement districts provide a solution. They create greater flexibility for communities, reduce risks for development, and help lower costs associated with bringing new housing projects to life. Most importantly, they give Nebraska communities another tool to support attainable housing for the families who want to live and work there. I'm incredibly proud of the work done by our team at Bluestem Capital, our partners in the Welcome Home Coalition, and the many stakeholders who helped bring this idea from concept to life. And finally, I want to especially thank Senator Mike Jacobson for championing this legislation at the legislature and Governor Pillen for signing it into law. Today is not the end of the process, it's the beginning. We now have the opportunity to put this tool to work and help communities across Nebraska grow and thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. I'm inclined to share this with you that, sometimes change thinking about how extraordinary these roundabouts are. Incredible, right? And I hate to admit this, but there's a new roundabout that first was done in Humphrey, at Humphrey in the interchange between Highway 81, 90, and 91. And it's a roundabout that's a quarter of a mile. And that intersection had lost a number of lives over the years. And we have a truck wash on the east side and service on the west side, so we have lots of traffic going through that for our business. And when I heard that the Department of Transportation was doing a quarter of a mile roundabout, what do you think human nature my response was? You got to be kidding me. Whoever dreamed up such a thing? Guess what? It's extraordinary. Our engineers developing it and innovating it. And now there's one when you drive on Highway 30 west on the 4-lane between Highway 15 and Highway 30 at North Bend. My point simply is that sometimes we get stuck in our ways and can have closed minds about change. I think what's really, really important for all of us Nebraskans is to be open-minded, adapted, and embrace this new legislation that makes it happen. And incredibly grateful for city administrator leadership, because it takes a lot. You probably sit through more than your fair share of 4-hour meetings, making sure that we hear everybody's impact, but it's really important. You've got a great one in Phil Green, City Administrator Blair. Phil,
Thank you very much, Governor Pillen, and thank you for your support on this particular bill. Many people believe that government is non-responsive to the desires of the citizens, and that no amount of discussion and conversation will ever result in any kind of positive change. Well, having served in local government now for 20 years, I know that that's not true at the local level, and I don't believe it's true either at the state level. Local and state elected officials hunger for positive input and feedback, and they listen carefully, and they make changes and modifications that are good for all of the citizens and residents. Sometimes all that is required is a simple question: why not? That was the case for this CID legislation. As we were meeting, and as had been mentioned previously, the simple question came up: why can't the SID model, the Sanitary Improvement District model of development, be accomplished inside city limits? It's much more important for smaller communities to have these developments inside the corporate limits. Well, the City of Blair is very thankful to our partners at Bluestem Capital and to development staff across the state of Nebraska for working with Senator Jacobson and the Urban Affairs Committee to draft and promote this great legislation. Blair is honored to be the first location in Nebraska to implement the CID for the development of this Bear Creek subdivision. Our hope and expectation is that this is only the first of many positive developments for the City of Blair, for Washington County, and for the state of Nebraska. Thank you all very much.
We'll go ahead and formally sign the legislation and get it handed off to Senator Jacobson. I was with Senator Jacobson Friday night out at Buffalo Bill days and the rodeo, and I would encourage all of you that there's a couple more rodeos in Nebraska that are extraordinary celebrations of agriculture. We're going to be in Clearwater, so Clearwater's only an hour northwest. Clearwater's a little community that we just recognized that's doing the same thing. Bring folks back home. Little town of 400 people, they're going to grow. They're not going to let their town shrink. They have an incredible rodeo. That's this weekend. And then in the end of July, the rodeo of all rodeos out in Burwell. New grandstand that was leveled from tornadoes a few years ago. And it's just an extraordinary event. So if you want to have an incredible family time, take in the rodeos because they're weekend. So we'll sign the legislation, and thank you, press, for being here. We'll take questions.
Look excited.
There you go. being here. Any questions? You're gonna let us off the hook? Well, thanks for, it's really, we really need the help in getting this good word out, because every community has the opportunity to take advantage of this legislation. Really help lower the costs. And I think the other thing within city administration, city government is talking about, holy cow, we've got homes that are 60 years old that have plastic pipe. The city code is talking about copper piping as an example. We have to clean the closets out and make sure that we're doing things that make sense, common sense for change. I think that'll make an incredible difference. So all these young people here knowing their homes. Yes, sir.
Good morning. The next step, allowing SIDs and CIDs together.
The question is the next step allowing SIDs and CIDs to be come together? I'm not an attorney. But my guess would simply be that SIDs that are formed. Now, a lot of SIDs are all mature. They've been around for a long time. So they probably won't be able to help much. I would imagine that, if I was a part of an SID that was just getting started, I'd be looking at the framework and seeing folks to be able to switch and to be able to take advantage of the community, to take advantage of this law. But a lot of SIDs are already matriculated in full, so there's no more lots to be able to build. There's very few in a lot of
Appreciate that, Ken. Yes, we want to utilize all the financial mechanisms that the state of Nebraska now has to offer. So CIDs inside city limits, SIDs outside city limits, and then we would love to pair TIF with CIDs in the future to really decrease the upfront lot costs and try to create as many affordable housing units as we possibly can throughout the state.
Anything else? Any comments, questions? Well, let me just say congratulations to everybody that's had a hand in on making this happen. I love to say in the state of Nebraska, together we can. We all know each other from just one hair apart in the community, and it's really important that we all keep working to grow Nebraska. The lights are really on. Maybe I'll last leave you with, let's see, tonight will be the last game of the 76 College World Series being held in Omaha, Nebraska. I think that I heard here recently that equates to over $2 billion of marketing value to Omaha, Nebraska on an annual basis. And the other day I had mentioned looking at the skyline, I said, just look at what's taken place in the city of Omaha in the last 10 and 15 and 20 years. And I said, I have a really good friend from Greeley County that lives in Kansas City, and he says, Thiellen, you know what they say? You know what they say in Kansas City? No, what do they say? They wish they could be like Omaha. And the mayor was with me, and a couple of weeks later I was with the mayor, and the mayor said, Governor, I haven't been able to tell you this, but I was at a mayor's conference, and the mayor of Kansas City came up to me and said, we want to be like Omaha. I think it's really important that we all start being really fired up about who we are and what we're doing, and saying, look, there's a whole lot of people that want to be like Blair, and there's a whole lot of people that want to come to Nebraska because we're the safest place in the world to live. We can educate our children. We can create extraordinary wealth for our families, and it starts with homeownership. And then as somebody that have told me that had moved here from California 20 years ago, they said those three things are still the same as they were 20 years ago, but we're never going to leave. Thanks for all being here. You have a great day. Make it a great week.